there we go. Now, having said that, I'm not too fond of this soldering iron for some reasons. I'm still going to use it with the other one right now because it has the right tip in there that I want to use to solder wires and stuff. So I'm going to be setting this here, and you will see I will turn it on. And it just works the same. What have I got it set for? 340. Let's set it for 330. As soon as this thing starts flashing, it is actually up to temperature. But for some reason, this particular controller on that particular tip, it seems to flash back and forth a little bit. 332, 337. Takes a little while to settle down, but it's ready for soldering anyway. Okay, so the first thing to do is to get this little controller in place. Now I have already mounted the little socket on here. The instructions tell you to solder up the little LED first, and we're going to be doing that. Now the little, I think I need to zoom in maybe just a little bit here. Maybe that's good. I've got the, you can actually check that in actual fact. I've also got this little unit here which I've become rather fond of. It's actually a multimeter, but it's in a probe. And if you go to there's diode mode, put the positive lead, the long one, on here, and the short one goes to the ground. See, it lights up. And this is 1.8 volts, so positive definitely is on that leg. So it goes in here, so that's the first thing we'll do. And then this little controller will go into this front panel, and you have to line up those little legs. I'm not too fond of the way that I've done that. I would have rather have had a couple of wires and a little socket to so you can actually remove it, because once you solder this in, you can't remove this thing anymore because it's in any case that's the way it is. Okay, there it went in, and now what I want is I want this let me get the little, oh, by the way, you see, we're talking about the temperature. You see I haven't touched the soldering iron. See, the temperature's gone down to 200, so it's on sleep mode right now. If I pick up the soldering iron, see, there it goes. You see that little switch working, so it's gone back to 330. It'll count up again. So this is one of the features I really like about these things, because when you're fiddling with some stuff, you know, you don't want the soldering iron to I think I'll need a little bit. Oh, that'll be better. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? This thing is fiddly. I'm going to use the other mount that I have. It'll be easier to use, and I'm actually going to mount it on here. Here we go. So now what I'm going to do is I want this little LED. There's actually a hole in the let me see if everything is lined up right. Yes, it is. There's actually a little hole in the plastic for the LED to shine through, and this particular, let me turn it over, this particular thing has a put this out of the way. This has got like a thin see-through plastic cover, foil on there, whatever you want to call it, and you see this says LED over here, and it's got a little holder, but it doesn't quite line up with the holes in the PC board unless you give it a little slight angle, and I want it okay. Put a little bit of water on my sponge. I've also got one of these things here. This is actually a hacker one, and there is a cheap Chinese copy, but this actually looks like copper, but it's actually just an ordinary steel pan scourer that they have actually copper plated. Typical Chinese. This one is all brass. Nevertheless, they both seem to work. Okay, so got that done. Now the next thing is to mount this, is to line this up. Now this here comes with a little washer and a little nut. I think the nut goes this way. Come on, there we go. I'm just going to make it finger tight right now. And now what we want to achieve is for this to I want this to be completely parallel with the little, there's a little bit of play there, so I'm going to have to, I'm going to solder up one of these little, the end one here, the little legs of this and now I can actually squeeze it in. I think that is perfect. Okay, so now we can go and solder up the rest of these pins. That should be it. Now let me double check this. Put some magnifying glasses on. In fact, I've got this thing here. Yep, all looks good. Very good. Okay. So that's that. Seems to be that they've got some holes and things for some, maybe a different type of soldering station. They're not being used. Alright, so that should take care of that. So that's the now I'm wondering, this little cable came with it, we'll try it out. This is going to go in like so. I've got that plugged in already. Now let's have a look at this power supply. It comes with little pieces of wire here, which I'm not sure if I like the looks of. They're very thin wires. Let me go to my wire supply and see if I can find some out for now. And I'm going to use this one. First thing I'm going to do is to put a little bit of liquid flux on there. This is GM Chemicals rosin flux. I put in a little bottle to dispense it. It seems to be working good for me. Since it's old wire, you know, if you don't use flux on it, it can be hard to get these things tinned. Okay. Alright, these wires are tinned. After I tin them, I tend to just snip the ends off, because they tend to splay out a little bit and they're longer than they need to be. Okay, now to this little power supply. We're going to put the red one on the active. There we go. I'm going to put the black one on the neutral. I know that in America we have the black one is usually active, but and white wires for neutral, but that's not going to apply here. Okay, that's the black one, and now we want to put the yellow one in the Okay, well anyway, we got it in there with a bit of manipulation. Okay, now put this aside. Now this is the case, and this is going to go in like so. Yeah, that's correct. So this will drop in here. Like that. And this one is ground. And this wire can actually be a bit shorter. Now, which one is active and which one is neutral? It is not marked on there. So, let me... strange stuff sometimes. So, this goes in here. And this one is going to go through to here, so this too can be shortened, and the other one goes right to the bottom. I also want to shorten that one. So what we're going to do now is strip them off. You see the soldering station, as I said, it has gone to 0. It is timed out so that there's no heating going on there. As I said, I really like that about these soldering stations. You don't have to keep switching it on and off, it does it for you. And if I pick up the soldering iron, it'll start again. Alright, so we got that stripped off. Zoom in a little bit. So as I said, I'm going to be using these little lugs on there, spade lugs. I don't want to solder these wires directly to that thing over there. I'm going to be using these little spade lugs and these little plastic covers for them. So I have to put the plastic covers on first. Now, what I like to do is I'm going to be crimping these things on, but what I like to do is to just put a tiny bit of solder on these little tips that will stop the spade lugs from ever falling off, and also from fraying and stuff like that. So I'm going to be just... yeah, you see I picked up the soldering iron, and it is automatically starting to count up again the heat. As I said, I really like that about those things. That's a feature that I really like. And it heats up quick, so you don't have to wait much. Okay, just a little bit of solder on the end, just a tiny bit, but that's okay. Now, I bought this thing on the also from AliExpress, and it's really good. It's got iWis on there, and it comes in a kit, and it has like 4 different. Comes in a little box here, and it has all these different jaws that comes with it, and it also came with these strippers, but I tend to use my other strippers more often than those. And so when it comes to crimping these things on, I squeeze the little legs so that they are actually pointing upwards, not splayed out too much. And if you look very carefully in these jaws, they have 2 sections, a wider section and a narrower section. See, wider and narrower. So the wider one is the one that actually goes over here, where the thing is supposed to grip the plastic of the cable. So there we go. So I got it inserted in there. Then you would insert the wire and squeeze down, and let's have a look. Perfect. Although the wire is sticking out a little bit more than I would like, so I'm going to snip off that little there. Okay, now the little plastic cover should be able to go back on. And I think I can actually shorten them a little bit. It's got plenty of solder on the end, so that's fine. Okay, so now let's do the other ones. Okay, back again. Okay, another one done. And the last one. Plug it in. Take the wire in. Very good. There's nothing like having good crimping pliers. It's very satisfying. Years past I used to squeeze them together with little pliers like that, and not good. Alright, so that's done. Now I'm gonna connect this together. There's one, that's neutral. This one is going to be a line or active, and here's some ground. Okay, that's done. Now let's put this in the case here, and okay, that's good. It's going to fit like that. Didn't come with any to mount the PC board, the power supply. So that's mounted. Now this plug here is supposed to plug into this little socket here. There we go. Oops, it's upside down. Okay, should be able to put the cover on. Yep, that's good. Now these screws will drop in here. So look if I can find a different screwdriver that'll work in that. Like that. Let's zoom out. Okay. Put these little screws away, don't need those. Alright, so all things being equal, the knob on there, you should be able to plug it in and see what happens. Okay, let's turn it off and we'll plug in turn the other one off that I've been using. Plug in the soldering iron that we already have. Turn it on. think it's working. When you first plug in a tip, it actually learns how the tip works, so it actually goes up and down a little bit, and it settles down after a minute or so. I've got it set for 320. Let's set it for 330. Okay, for all intents and purposes I think it's working. So we're actually going to be using this for instead of the other one, for actually soldering up the that soldering iron over here. Let's put some of these things away that I don't need. Okay. So you're going to be using this little plug. Now this here will actually end up going inside of the there's some slots in there that slides into, so it's going to go like that. So we need to get the wire out here. I've already stripped off a bit of this stuff here, and this is going to be soldered onto here, and then there is a little cable tie that will go around there to hold it in. But we're going to be soldering up the plug first with this. So we will have to slide on this body first here, because that's going to be, and then can I get that to grip in there? Yeah. Yeah, that one works fine. Okay, now let's have a look. There was actually instructions here that I didn't actually follow, because I know how to put these things together, and I think my way was a better way. You see, they have soldered it on, and they put this pieces of heat shrink tubing on there, but I put spade lugs on there. I like to be able to connect stuff. So wire stripping and soldering, and here they have the diagram of how the wires get together. The black, green, red, blue, white and blue, and however, I like my diagram better, so that's what we're going to be using. Let me get rid of some more stuff here. Now, if you look very carefully, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Let me get the suitable fine pointer. But these actual pins here, see this, they've got numbers on there. This is pin 1. Don't know how good I can go. So this autofocus is not working right now, is it? Anyway, there are numbers on here. This says number 1, this is number 2, 3, 4, 5. So this actually tells us where to which wires to connect where. Flux on there, it just makes it a little bit better. Okay, so that's done. Now let's have a look. This is pin 1 right here. So, but let's put a little bit of solder on these pins so we can just tack them on. All right. So double check. Let me see now. Yep, pin 1 is right here. Pin 1 is ground. I'm going to turn the temperature up just a little bit because it seems to be okay. That's better. I like it to be nice and shiny. Alright, so this one is pin 2. Pin 2 is going to be red. This is according to my list here. See, pin 2 is red. I think I can actually just hold it on the I know what I'll do. I'm going to get my little So where are we? Yeah, pin 2 is right there. Probably can't see it because my hand is in the way, but it's a little, these things are awkward. So that was pin 2. Yeah, it's clear. Now we have pin 3. I think it's better if I put it like that, and you can probably see what I'm doing. Okay. Pin 3 is going to be white. So we're using our new soldering station we just put together, so it is working just fine. That was pin 3. Now we're going to do pin 4. Pin 4 is blue. We'll be checking this. Let me double check. Yep, that's for blue wire. So melt the solder on the lug first, and then we can just dip the wire in there. And then the last one, pin 5 is black. Okay. Oh, you know what? Oh, I forgot to slide on this little guy here, so another thing I'm going to do is put some heat shrink tubing on there to strengthen it. A little bit of a noise here. And this just screws on like that. Tighten up the little screws. Okay, I think we got that done. Now the other end, first of all we got to get this little switch mounted. You see how it says golden pin is in hole 1, silver pin in hole 2. That's important. It has to be oriented in the right way. I'm just going to pause for a sec here so that I can... Okay, so the gold pin goes to very subtle. This gold pin is very hard to see if that's actual gold. I've been very use very little of it. So gold wire goes to pin 1, that looks about right. Okay. Yep. The little switch is mounted. Now we've got this end strip off the rubber here. These little strippers are sold on AliExpress for $1.88, and they're actually made for coaxial cable, but you can adjust them at the bottom here with little screws, and they have different size that you can deal with, and it works just great. Normally I would stretch the cable like this and then use a sort of a Stanley knife on it, but this is a lot better. Okay, so let me have a look here. First of all, let's not forget now to slide this guy over the top first, otherwise we'd have to unsolder it all again, because don't forget this gets soldered onto there and it plugs into here, so that should be good. And what's going to happen is we're going to be soldering these wires into these little holes here, and then this cable here has to be mounted with that cable tie, so we don't want to have too much wire sticking out. I think that's probably about right now. And the instructions are here. See the colors and what it looks like when it's done. So I'll be following that. To be careful, I don't want to damage that. There we go. Alright, so black wire goes to B minus. I'm going to actually put it in upside down because I want to solder it from the top. I think I might get this thing involved as well to hold it in place. Yeah, that's good. Next one is going to be a white. There's some tweezers here. Actually, maybe these little pliers will work better for me. This is fiddly work. Okay. Clean it up a little bit while we're here. Snip off the excess. Okay. Ask me, those wires could have been a little bit thicker. I wonder how much resistance they have. Because the hole in the PCB is actually large enough for the insulation to poke through as well. supposed to carry 3 amps at full power. Okay. Make sure that the that little thing that goes on this side so it doesn't interfere with anything. Snip that off. Let's actually zoom out now. Move this light out of the way. Okay, so let's have a look at what we have. Before we put it, so according to my diagram here, pin 1, let's start with that, and pin 1, according to the numbers on the plug here, this is pin 1, so we can plug it in here and we should find a connection to ground. And I don't see a connection. This is going to pin 2. Oh, I'm on the wrong side, that's why. I've got it upside down. See, just because don't forget it plugs in like this. So this is ground here. So this is ground. And that should go to pin 1. Yes, sir. Then the next one is going to be negative, and these crocodile clips are useless, aren't they? I'm going to be making some leads with Kelvin clips on them, which I'll do another video on. What have we got? A minus, and minus goes to pin 5. Indeed. Then this one is going to be positive, and that's pin 2. Pin 1, pin 2. Yep. You can hear a beep, I presume. Twist the microphone around. Then we have the switch, and the gold lead, which is actually should be going to this pin on that switch. Should be going to pin 4. Yes. And then the silver lead on the switch should be going to pin 5. No, what's pin 5? Pin 3, sorry. What am I saying? Yep. So it looks like everything is wired up correctly. And you know how things are. If I hadn't done this, I would have swapped one wire over and the thing would have blown up. That's how things go. That's how things go. Okay, so this just slides in here now. Let's grab this, and so the next thing that goes on is this. And then tip slides in, and you see it actually catches on that thing, so it can't go any further. And then you have to put that on. And now we are going to disconnect the one that we were using and plug the new one in. and as soon as I moved it, it's already starting to count up. And yep, there's smoke coming off it. See, it's working. Now the way this thing works is like if you're soldering something and you're hitting the like a ground plane or something, you can actually push this button and watch. It will immediately put an extra 10 degrees Celsius on there. See, it went to 350 instead of, or 20 degrees or whatever it is. And then you'll see that little decimal point flashing that tells you that it is in that mode. But as soon as you switch, you turn the control here, it will turn off. And when it is in sleep mode, I think this one flashes and so on. And this is all I ever do. I mean, I just adjust the temperature according to, you know when the solder is melting and stuff like that. But we could potentially put a thermocouple on there. Grab one of these bigger ones, you have more area, touch it with the thermocouple, and I might do that, but I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so that was a successful job. I'm going to switch it off. I'm going to put, final job is to put the little feet in, little rubber feet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that's it. This is our soldering station. Okay. Now I've got 2 of them, so I can have 2 irons going at the same time. Potentially a bigger one and a big tip and a small tip. Okay, so that's it. We're all done. Until next video.